What's up team, it's Jordan here from Courage State with another video for you. This is an interview I did with a guy called Kevvvy, who started this Facebook group called Kevvvys World. Now, I haven't met anyone quite like Kev. He is the most genuine, authentic guy I've ever met, to be honest. So I'm going to let him introduce himself and take it away. Please enjoy.
Hey, I'm Kevin Quennell and I have a Facebook page called Kevvvys World. It is just a vlog, that just documents my process and my journey through depression and suicide, and making sure that I never go back to that dark place again by finding out my own health tricks and tips through the community that I have created through Kevvvys World. So I guess come and join Kevvvys World and be a part of my family, and let's change the world. Yeah.
So Kev, we're here today in the beautiful cafe. What's the cafe called again, mate?
The Dream Tom?
What's the cafe called? Beautiful cafe, sure.
Yeah.
And Kev, the reason I sort of wanted to talk to you was for a number of reasons. Now, you have a Facebook group called Kevvvys World, which I reckon is awesome. I think there's a lot of very organic, raw content there, which I think people really thrive off, you know, that authenticity of your journey and all of that.
Yeah.
And I sent you a message about sort of your description of courage, and that's where I'd like to sort of start this conversation, was to get your definition of courage and what it means to you.
Okay, courage to me, I first want to, what I've done I don't see as courage, but I believe that courage is trying to, so your mind and your body wants to tell you to do everything but that one thing that you want to do, but you have to pick up the courage, like the balls, you could say. Oh, can I swear on this?
You can, mate. You can say what you want.
Yes. So, you know, pick your balls and actually do the thing that you are most scared of doing, because at the end of the day, you know, you're being told not to do that for a reason. You know, I never thought that I'd do make the page, or, you know, even just do that first video, but something inside of me was saying, if you don't do it now, you know, you're for one going to always regret it. Two, you're going to live, you know, the same cycle, you know, and then, you know, so I had to find that courage, I guess, as you say, to do that one little thing that I was so scared to do. And then once I did it, you know, I'm like, what have I been waiting for the whole time, you know?
Right. And for a lot of people, man, we all feel that feeling of the butterflies in the stomach. You know, when we think about something that we're truly scared of doing. And an example I'd like to use is approaching someone you're into. You know, someone you've got the hots for.
Yeah.
We all relate to that feeling of butterflies, the feeling of shit, am I going to get rejected here? Right? And we've all felt that, and we feel that in numerous parts of our lives. So for you felt this with wanting to start Kevvvys World, wanting to start your Facebook group and to sort of share your journey. Was there any catalyzing moments? Was there any moment where you're like, okay, now I have to do it?
And how I said in the videos, right, you know, attempted suicide and stuff like that, you know, to the point where, I think about 5 or 6 times, right? So I got to the point where obviously it's not working what I'm doing. I've done the medication, I've done the rehab, I've done the counselling, I've done everything that you're supposed to do, yet I'm still finding myself in this big rat race of, you know. And then so I figured, and I was sitting on the bank, and I was just watching this waterfall, you know, and I was just thinking, I was like, that waterfall doesn't wait for someone to, you know, to tell it to keep flowing, keep going, you know. So why the fuck am I waiting for someone else's point of view to tell me what I need? So I was like, fuck, I'm gonna go find my own shit, you know, because if I can't find my own thing, then I'll resort back to what I was doing before. But, you know, in me doing this, I've actually found so much, you know, honesty and truth, and, you know, not bullshitting yourself and all that things. But I wouldn't have found that if I didn't make that first initial step of, you know, putting myself out there in that comfort zone of going, all right, I have to do this, you know. And, you know, maybe me being selfishly thinking is like, fuck, if I do this, and I've always said that I first need to help myself to help others, because I eventually want to be a counsellor and stuff like that. But who wants to hear stuff from a counsellor that has their own shit going on, or like has no real like, bro, I've been there, I've done that, you know, and this is what I did.
Tell us more about Kevvvys World for those viewers that don't know what you do. Tell us about Kevvvys World.
Essentially it is a platform that I've created. So it's a platform that I've made to just document my journey through going through the suicide, depression, all that kind of stuff, right? I never thought it would come to this. I just wanted some place where I could feel safe, and it's like my safe place, you know. And then it turns out like I'm not the only one who thinks like this. I'm not the only person that like struggles to get out of bed when there's absolutely nothing stopping you from doing it apart from, you know, your mind. So, you know, I thought, well, then maybe this is the way I can help people, because this is the day and age we live in, right? That you have to have a Facebook page, you have to have this Instagram, you have to have all this flashy shit that appears that you have this magical, lovely life, right? And you know, and to me, I was like, why are people so fake? I mean, maybe if I make this thing, and I said from the very beginning, no one will listen to it unless it's genuine, 100%, you know, pick all that crap away and just be, you know, attack the point of, why am I depressed? Why am I suicidal all the time? What can I do to change it? And now I've found this massive outlet of, holy shit, like, I'm not actually alone, I'm not this, and now all of a sudden I'm getting messages and, you know, people telling me their stories, and, you know, like the hardest people, like guys from my rugby club who are like, you know, bro, you know, and they're like, and yeah, and then they're like, bro, this is amazing, like, and so to me, I'm like, I did the, you know, first step was making the page, but I never expected it to blow up to what it is, you know, but I'm so happy because what I'm trying to achieve is sort of getting there, you know, of changing people's, like the weirdest thing is that through this whole thing is my new saying is I don't have depression. My depression is not an illness, right? I have a weak mentality, or I don't have the right tools to strengthen my mental toughness when things get tough.
So tell me, there's an interesting part of what you said, and that is, like, you tried counselling and tried a range of different things to help with the depression and the suicide things.
Yeah.
But creating the page really helps. But it's not just the page, it's what the page represents. The page represents community, it represents reaching out to people. And the funny thing you realise is that the hardest, toughest, you know, most stoic individuals, those guys in your rugby team, you know, the quintessential New Zealanders where you don't share your
bloke, you know,
yeah, exactly, right?
I'm fine, bro. Yep. How are you? You know.
All told, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
but then he teaches his kid that, and his kid teaches his kid that, and his kid teaches his kid that, and they never actually. And then all of a sudden, there's that kid blaming his granddad for his shit.
Yeah.
But it's like I did the same. I blamed my dad for years about shit.
Yeah.
But I'm like, one day you just look in the mirror and go, he's not living my life.
Yeah.
You know, like, so why am I? You know.
Yeah, exactly. So. And it gets stuck in this pattern of all of these dudes being shared to scare their emotions. So tell me, when you created this page and you started getting those really tough men coming to you and sharing their experiences, like, how did that make you feel?
Oh man, like normal, to be honest. You know, because like, I mean, I've fought in a cage, I've done MMA, I've done Muay Thai, I've done BJJ stuff. I've been in those situations, you know, like had a person try to rip my head off, you know, and I've never felt like I was a tough guy doing that shit, right? But when you get someone who you look up to, you idolise, right? You know, you stand next to on a rugby field and you look at him and like, fuck, oh shit, like, you know, Ray or like some guy in Mariti standing there, I have to, right, he runs it up and know how big he is, or I'm gonna, you know, take him out.
Yeah.
You know, but then for him to, at the end of the game, you go, bro, that was amazing, you know, you're so strong. And he goes, nah, it's just game, bro. You're strong for talking up. You're strong for saying what's on your chest, no matter who's trying to, you know, stop you from saying what you're saying. Like, that is, as you said, courage to, you know, do what your heart is like. Please don't tell my fly, because what I got told by my mate who's in the gold the mines at the moment in Aussie, He said everybody in the world has a 5% that they'll never tell anyone, but that 5% affects the 95% of their life because they can't break away. You know, like the finishing line, right? And they're running, and then this other guy, like me, or for instance, I'm go straight away because I have nothing holding me back, right? But those guys, or anyone who has that 5% in them still, they'll be running through mud at the start. I'm already over here. I'm already fucking long gone, right?
Yeah.
But they're just getting out the mud going, all right, I've waded through my shit, now I can go. But it's like, you just put yourself through so much mental shit, mental pain, for what? To make it your journey harder? Like,
so tell me,
you know, like, yeah.
What's your 5%? What was your 5%?
My 5%, being bisexual, that was a big thing. You know, I've been abused. I think, to be honest, I think I have a very unique opinion on stuff. So I don't know, I don't really express it much, but when I was younger, right, I lived the Kiwi kid life of going to school, playing with your mates, playing rugby, cricket, playing all that kind of stuff, right? And when I was about 9 years old, I moved to America, and I lived in America for 2.5 years. So I went to their schools, and I did through their schooling systems, and so it opened my mind to a whole new world of and over there it was mental. Like every day I had to fight for, because I was a new kid, they didn't know, who All Blacks were, New Zealand was, so they didn't give a shit, so I'm kind of like, well, I kind of see the world a bit, different, but back to that 5%. The things I went through in America that I wouldn't tell anyone, being bloody almost molested, being, beaten up pretty much every day, just those little things, and there's probably other stuff, but I can't think of it at the moment because they're the key things, and my sexuality was a big thing. I've never looked at myself as a bisexual. It's just, if you treat me kindly, I don't give a fuck, you're a guy, girl, whatever. Like, if you treat someone kindly, why can't you, go have a relationship with, it's a guy. So? Because I've had a relationship with chicks, right, and they have been the worst people in the world, they have torn you down to pieces.
Yeah.
And then you're sitting there fuck, all I did was ask how the day was, but that's no thing to them, it's just the way that I interpret it and stuff like that, but yeah, that's about my 5%. Obviously there's other stuff that, the late nights and, the multiple suicide stuff. I used to roll around in town and I would ditch my mates and I would intentionally go look for trouble because I didn't care about who I was, what I was. So I would, and I did, which was the sad thing, I did run into it. I would intentionally go down dark alleys and go, and just see if there's someone there, who need, and then once or twice there'll be a girl there being attacked by a guy, or there'll be a guy there sitting in the bin going fucking, a homeless guy who's fucked up on drugs, and you're just oh my god, this guy's about to fucking die, and then seeing that shit, it makes you, again, look at the world a bit differently. Why is this guy down here, when, 100 meters away, there's a guy having the time of his life, and then, yeah, again, I've gone off topic, but,
This is good, man. This is good. So, as you may describe, that 5% is sort of the 5% that you never tell anyone, because it's pretty personal, but that 5% holds back the other 95%. Yeah. And, it sounds like you've gone through a lot of pain, a lot of discomfort, but it's sort of created you to be the person you are today, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. Full circle. You got to go full circle with it.
But the difference being is that you have found a way to start talking about that 5%. And when did that begin, man? When did that begin?
I remember actually perfectly. Okay, so the waterfall, I walked down. In Tawa, there's there's a river that down next to my house, and there's eels and stuff like that. At that point, I was thinking all this in my head, sitting on the river going, fuck, if I don't do it, no one's going to do it. Fuck it, I'll do it. And then I did it. And I sent it to my mate Ben Playford first, actually. And
what exactly did you send him?
The video, the first video, I said, hey bro, I'm thinking about doing this. I want to do this, I want to do this video. And I told him first, I was like, so I'm bisexual, I'm all this. I've been, almost molested. I've done all this stuff that, and he's like, bro, I never knew. And I'm like, it's because I never told anyone. He's like, bro, you have to, like, I know it's going to be hard, but like, do it. And then he told me about his struggles about owning a business and paying, having enough money to pay his employees and food for his dogs and shit. And I'm like, bro, I haven't had this conversation with you ever. What happened? He's like, oh, it's because you told me your shit. And I'm like, oh.
How long are you not been for?
College. So we're college mates. Through my depression and stuff, I lost contact with all of them, all my mates.
You've known this guy for years.
Yes.
But it just took you to be a little bit open, to do the same.
Yeah, and now like we're going fucking up to Palmy on Saturday, and like we're hanging out again. And he's like the master barbecue. Oh, he owns Ben's Buns and Prem. Right. So I'm gonna start driving as like. It's not that like, so for instance, the thing is I like to help people. So for now I'm gonna be like, bro, I can, if you need a delivery guy, I'll be a delivery guy. And he's like, bro, I've been looking for a delivery guy for ages. He's like, where have you been? And I'm like, sorry, bro. And he's like, oh, and I'm like, but then that's all like why I can't go back.
Yeah.
Because I've made so much progress now and so many new like reconnections, like people I haven't seen in years, they're sending me videos about their hardship and it's like, now I have a responsibility, not for me, but for them. And to me, that's like dry, like I get out of bed and I go, I don't push snooze, I go, fuck you. Who am I going to fuck up today, like in a good way, like, like who am I going to try change, or who am I, who's going to try to step on my toes and I'm going to bite back, because it's weird, like I've never been this, I would never do something like this. 3 weeks ago, I would have not answered your phone. I would have.
Really?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I would have been scared to put myself out there, or But to now, it's like I don't give a shit. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen?
So tell me that. I'm really interested about that first time you made yourself vulnerable. Because courage does not exist if fear isn't there, right? You obviously had fear, and it took the courage to overcome that.
Yeah.
Now, when people come to being open about something, obviously that first time's the hardest. Then after that, it can be quite easy being open about what you're feeling. That first one's the hardest. So, explain to me how that first time felt when you first sent that video to Ben, and how you felt afterwards.
Okay. So I'll explain it like, so I played cricket at a semi-high kind of level. I would relate it to facing the first ball of an over.
Okay.
You don't know the bowler at all. You've never seen him. You don't know how quick he is. You don't know how he's going to shape the ball. You just have to go and be like, I am better than that motherfucker. I am number one batsman for a reason.
Yeah.
Come at me, and then you go, all right, come at, and then you take it head on, right?
Yeah.
But if I went, fuck, and then, all of a sudden I'm on the back foot, good cricket analogy right there. But I that's what I thought. I was like, I'm scared, and I always took nervous pisses before I went out cricket, and I felt a nervous piss, and I was like, that's a good thing. Because if I didn't take that nervous piss, I would have been, I'm not onto something. Because same with rugby, like I get so nervous that I've taken 3 pisses before my rugby. Or like judo match or something like that, and you see the guy you're versing, you're like, fuck, but then you remember like everything I got taught when I was a kid, like be honest, be true, be creative, be, change your mindset, don't follow the herd, don't do all this stuff, right? Things that we've all been told, everyone's been told it, it's just that we forget. And then I was just, that's what I got to do. And then I did it, and then Ben was like, bro, that's amazing. bro, 100% run with it. And like to this day, like I still go, am I doing the right thing? And here's my reality check.
Yeah.
I've got a couple reality checks, and that's very, very important. That the second the message gets foggy, or the second that you get too high for your head, I'm not doing this for anything other than I want to find an alternative way to save myself. Because something really weird happens when you kiss death, I'd say. And I've said that to a lot of people. It's like when you're there and you're seeing the light and you're like, fuck, and instead of going there, like for instance, once when I was so wasted that I wanted to jump in front of a train, right? And I was looking at this train coming and I saw the light, and then all of a sudden I just felt myself walk backwards. And I'm like, why am I going forward? I want to do that. I want to go. And I'm physically, and then I'm thinking, why am I physically making what the fuck, and then so confused that I ended up just sitting in a park bench and going, but maybe I don't want to die, but then I do, but I don't. And then I'm like, fuck, I need help. And then so on and so forth, and here we are today.
Yep.
But that never would have happened with that first reassurance. I guess that's what Ben and others, through years, I've always had a tight circle that I've been very open with. I've always done this to my friends, like, hey bro, I'm struggling. I'm really, really struggling. I'm just not on the level that I have done now.
Yep.
And they're all like, bro, it's all good. We're bogans, like bogans from the coast, like metalheads, fucking drink heaps of piss, or they do, and I'm looking at them like, if these guys care, if these guys who are tattooed, got leather jackets, fucking, bloody knuckle dusters and all shit, and then I'm going, I'm really struggling here, bro. Like, I tried to kill myself last night. What the fuck was that about? And then this big guy with a tattoo on his forehead going, brother, it's okay. And I'm looking at him like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and then you go talk to someone who's like a, clean cut person, and you go, bro, I'm really struggling here. And they go, I ain't got time for it. Or like, sort it out, bro, sort it out. And you're like, okay. And they just saps you out.
Yeah.
So I thought, fuck, these big, scary looking guys, again, and that's why I really think that the advertisement and stuff for this shit, like they advertise for drink driving, not wearing a seatbelt, all that kind of crap, right? Why not for depression? Why not they get these big hearty men that are on TV, like the Artie Saviers, the rest in peace Jerry Collins, the guys that are like, we all look up to, why don't they have them on a platform going, all right, today I really struggled, and instead of picturing this perfect, thing that they're fine and everything's fine, and kids like me who I idolised Christian Cullen and Kevvvys Alamu and fucking even like Zinzan Brook and them, right? Like big hearty fellas, or like Christian Cullen, who was like the first guy to lift double his weight, and I thought, fuck, that's awesome, But imagine if they had the same flip of it, or like Bull Allen, right? Imagine Bull Allen back in the 90s, or 90s, the 90s. He was like the hurricane.
Or Colin Meads, for example.
All right. So Colin Meads, right? Yeah. Imagine if Colin Meads sat down and said, today I struggled, and and imagine that, and they would have been, and then these guys would have been like, fuck, all right, if Colin Meads did it, so that's I don't know where I was going with that, but it's just these thoughts that I've had, but I can't do that shit, or I can't, because if I don't do it, there's no one's going to do it.
Yeah.
I
think the key thing is no matter how strong you think you are, or no matter how isolated you think you are, we have to remember that humans, we're a social species, and we don't have to face any battle on our own. And sometimes all you need is one person who can just be there for you, who can just listen while you pour your heart out. And for you, that's all it needed to be. And for me personally, like with things that I've dealt with, you certainly deal with them a lot better if you talk to someone about it.
Yeah,
You know,
well,
and it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
But as you said, once you've done it that first time, suddenly they tell you stuff that's
that doubt.
We have to remember, everyone's human, you know, and although we've got different shit that we need to deal with, we've all got shit.
Yeah.
You know, no one's got this perfect utopia where nothing goes wrong, you know, everything's...
Yeah, so I wish they stopped painting it out like everyone's like that, you know, like, but like what I've always thought is, and my mum's always said, my grandma, is a problem shared is a problem halved, right? So I always thought, and now I think, right, I go, well, in that theory, right, so if I share it with 4 people, it's not been halved, it's been fucking eighth, you know, because half, and so on, until it's the point where it's so small that you go,
just like talking about the weather.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, fuck, I'm feeling down today, man. Like, you know, shit. You know, and then you're like, well, you know, it's just. But you just, like you say, you know, like you've got to be open.
A couple more questions for you, kids. For someone watching this video who may be in a bad place right now, or may just need that little push to reach out and talk to someone, what would you say to them?
Okay, I said this because I had an argument with one of my mates the other night, because once I've done this, I can just see through bullshit now. Like, if it's not genuine to me, I don't care. And that sounds harsh, but I ain't got time for lying anymore. I used to lie all the time, but my main advice would be spend a good half an hour just looking yourself in the mirror, like, you know, looking in your mirror and going, all right, who do you want to be? Not this guy that you pretend to be. Who do you? The guy that you're staring back at. Because at the end of the day, your best mate can't do anything for you. Your girlfriend can't do anything. Your mum, your dad. It's you, right? So, and realise that, you know, it's not actually as hard as you. And if anything proves, it's a guy who's a kid from Tawa, or Pukekohe Bay, actually. Pukekohe Bay. Yeah, but lives in Tawa. But that has done this amazing thing just, you know, by getting to his absolute low point. Like, you don't need to get to your low point, you just have to realise that being honest and being true and, you know, once, and, you know, like I'm the guy that will say if you're in trouble, I you know, meet you like, well, first time I meet you, right? Yeah. If say you're having a fight outside, I wouldn't hesitate to run and go help you, right? All right. I forgot where I was going with that, to be honest.
If someone needs help, like if someone right now is feeling low and needs help.
Yeah, oh right, yeah. So be that person, right? And I always have someone else's back, always, but I never had my own. So be selfish for a second and go, I have my own back, you know, I do all these things. Think about your life, think about the hardest thing you've ever done and go, if I can survive that, well, I spent 6 months on a fishing boat. If I can survive that, then nothing else is going to affect me, you know, and words are just words, right? You can't, it's the way that you interpretate them and the way you know, acknowledge them is the way that it will affect you at the end of the day, you know. It's not like a word's going to punch you in the face, but you choose to let it punch you in the face, and then all of a sudden you go, fuck, it's beating me down, blah, blah, blah. When you can just say, and look at yourself in the mirror and go, do I believe in it? And it's so hard to do that, I understand. And I can hear someone say it right now, go, oh, you make yourself so easy, bro. But it fucking is. Like, it's as easy as taking your pride, or your nuts, for instance, throw them away for a second, and actually help yourself. Or do you want to go pay $100 to go talk to some shrink, and then who's going to tell you the same thing that you know in your head, and then you go home and go, fuck it, I knew that already, but I'm not going to do it. Nah, fuck it. Nah, I'm going to do this. You know, and that's why that's what I'd say is my one main advice would be, just be honest, be genuine, and realise that you're living your life, no one else is living it. So for once, just put your pride away and just, you know, let your heart sing, you know, because once you do, fuck, who knows, you might be sitting in a cafe talking to someone about trying to help someone else.
Here we are.
And here we are, you know, like, this blows my mind, like, that I'm sitting here talking to you. It's like, I'm just a kid, like, who cares about what I have to say? Obviously a lot of people.
A lot of people, man.
But why doesn't it, like, what made me different to everyone else?
Yeah.
Is that I just, for 1 second, I just put my pride away and I realized I need help. I can't get help from anyone else. I need help from myself. I'm gonna go find that, and no motherfucker is gonna stop me from finding that. And if anything, if someone gets in my way, it just proves to me that, all right, I have to keep going. I have to keep pushing. Because at the end of the day, I know where it leads, and it leads to a very, very, very dark, scary place that, you know, I never want to be again.
Yeah.
And that's 100% true. Like, I never want to be staring down the lights of a train again. But I forgot that in my head, that I have that in the back of my arsenal of going, if shit really gets too hard, I know I can fight my way out of this because I'm a fucking lion. And you know, I'm a wolf in sheep clothing, right? And I know all I've done is shed the sheepskin.
Yeah.
You know, I've just showed who I truly am.
Yeah.
You know, and once you do that, you'll be fucking howling in the wind, you know, and then people hear that thing, and then, you know, like wolves. One wolf goes here, another one's there, community popping up, talking to each other.
Yep.
And that you don't get that by making that first, oh!
Yeah.
Also, I really wanted to bang that out, but I didn't. No.
You did, mate.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to conclude this video by firstly saying directly to Kev, if you're watching this, mate, don't stop being who you are. Do not change. This world, I think, in this day and age, really is screaming for people to be authentic, to be genuine. And, you know, with the research I've done into, you know, even just media like YouTube videos and things, there are way more people viewing like videos that are genuine, with people that are speaking from the heart, that are discussing things like mental health, depression, suicide, you know, which is great. And I think it's an awesome paradigm shift within society, that we are all longing for some people to be genuine. So it's people like you that are really truly going to change and shape lives, Kev. So kudos to you. And to everybody watching, if you want to check out Kevvy's page on Facebook, I've put a link in the description below. I highly recommend you check out his stuff because it is spoken from the heart. There's no bullshit. Kev says it how it is, and I think it's super refreshing. So thank you everybody for watching. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, leave any comments, just any level of support. It's greatly appreciated. Love you all.